are again.
We are again. So we had a super lovely lunch on Monday.
We did. And it was so nice because I feel like most of our chat times have been so devoted towards the project that we had going on.
Yes.
And so it was so nice to get to chat with you about other things that you're working on.
Yeah.
And I was so intrigued to hear your story of your latest project, which is Work.Life.Smarts, and how that came into be and kind of what it's all about. And I thought it'd be so great for other people to hear more information about that and kind of the structure of it and what it helps with.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
So
Well,
tell us all about it.
So Work.Life.Smarts is my latest project, and I am so proud of it because I feel like Work.Life.Smarts is like a culmination of all of these different things which I have worked on personally over the last few years, things which I've helped other people work on. It brings things in which I learned like 20 years ago or more. And it's also, the other reason I'm so proud of it is because it is designed to be a realistic way to address your work and life habits. So, instead of going at this like hustle, I'm trying to change everything overnight and be, like reach my goals within the next week. It's actually a very human way of looking at things, which is so much the way I approach life. Like, I don't think we need to be superhuman to achieve our goals and to have success. Actually, if we embrace our simple humanness, we can get so much further.
The things you teach already affect me and have affected my life in that respect. I'm so grateful that I've met you because of that, because it really is about like making those small changes and not feeling like you have to do it all at once.
Right. I think one of the things that's interesting about us as humans is we tend to be attracted to the complex.
Yeah.
We look at something, we're like, oh, that's really difficult, so it must be like it, that it's so complicated, it must be right, it must be good. And sometimes we ignore the most simple things, right? And sometimes the most simple things are actually the key. You can take a really simple concept and it can make a profound change. But the thing about simple is sometimes we ignore it because it looks like it's too simple.
Yeah. Well, and I think to that point, it's like we're all striving to feel like we're enough. So we want to throw everything in the kitchen sink at it to hope that it can prove that we're enough.
Right.
And so this idea just allows us to sit in the fact that we are enough right where we are, and we can just make those little changes that we need to make ourselves feel better along the way.
So it's really cool to talk to you, particularly you, about this, because next month in November, the topic is actually your physical self.
Ooh.
So, and I'm really excited about this because I think a lot of people think of me as, like I'm a coach and I help people with like work habits and life habits and mindset things and whatever. But actually, I have quite a bit background in doing physical stuff as well, like martial arts and Alexander technique and stuff. And you got to experience one of my workshops at the Renew retreat that we did a couple of weeks ago, which
I sure did.
Awesome, and we should so talk about that too. But, so there was this workshop, and I want to hear from you how that was for you and like what you picked up from that.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to share what that was like for me. It was one of the workshops I was most excited about because I knew you as a coach and all the mindset stuff, but I didn't know the amazing amount of experience that you have in body awareness and looking at things from that perspective. And it was so cool to go through that experience with you. For me, and confidence in my practice, because I am still relatively new in the world of coaching, and especially in sharing that in video type formats like this. And so it was interesting for me to go through that practice of the body work, and it was so profound, and it felt really good. The exercises that we did in Alexander technique, and then the Eastern philosophy practices that we did in the Tenden, which I particularly enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then applying those, but seeing how it affected, because I went back and when I was setting up the replay page for the Renew retreat, seeing how my body language shifted from the morning to after that workshop, and how, yeah, and how much more I was kind of like sitting back a lot more, and my posture was quite different. So it was cool to just see that shift alone.
Right.
And then also to see how it played out when I went about my other physical practices like yoga. Because the next day I went to a yoga class and I put those things into practice there, and how much different my practice felt. And this is something, you know, I've been practicing yoga since I was 16. So it's what I love about that modality, is you're always discovering new things and seeing these same shapes and transitions into those shapes in new ways. And the work that we did in that workshop definitely played into that. So that was really cool to see. And I'm constantly trying to think about it. Even today in this talk, I'm like, okay, how am I sitting? Where's my center of gravity? Am I sitting back or am I reaching forward, and that kind of thing. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I love
So that, like, for the people who are wondering, like, what went on in that workshop? Like, what? So it was actually just a really simple, almost like thought change, right? To shift from leading with different parts of the body, like moving around, leading with different parts of the body, to finding a center, which I'm gonna just like stand up slightly, a center which is kind of here and right inside. That if you lead with that point, it can make a real shift, right? But really what you're doing is you're just asking your body to do something a little bit differently with a single thought. And I think that's where this simplicity thing is so profound, that actually the more we practice these incredibly simple things where you're asking yourself to do something differently, you're giving yourself a choice, you're noticing what you do habitually, and then you're giving yourself a choice of what you might like to do instead. So, oh, I would like to lead with Tanden instead of lead with chest or lead with chin, or, you know, whatever you usually do. That's the foundation for making positive habit change. And so often we overcomplicate things, and we think it's hard because it's complicated. Actually, simple isn't the same as easy, right? It's not easy to just adopt a new habit. And getting through that like difficult little period where you have to use your conscious brain to make these little changes all the time, that's actually quite difficult to do. There is a high difficulty level to changing habits, but it is actually as simple as having a thought.